All right. Looks like we're live in the group. About a minute late. What can you do? all sorts of things are coming in late. It's the theme of the week. But on behalf of Art the Clown Appreciation Society, Mike, thanks for joining us. We really, really appreciate it. You guys have been really, really good to us, and we're super looking forward to talking to you. I think that you bring such a unique perspective, especially to this group. So we're psyched to have you.
Honored to be here. Thank you guys very much. I'm excited to chat with you guys.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And for those people who don't know, John Ruff, kind of like a super ATCAS guy, joining us. First time special guest as well on the chat. So, you guys have seen him in the post. You've seen all his videos. He's won a few contests. Puts a lot of thought.
He's not
most
not
of them.
All. Not all.
Not all. No. But he's been in some good battles, so that's good.
Yeah.
We're gonna let John kick it off.
Oh, well, snap. All right, Michael, thank you again for doing this. Really, really love your work. Big fan of you and the whole Fuzz on the Lens guys. We're going to start it off with the most important question of the year. When is Terrifier 2 being released?
Oh, you didn't hear? We actually released it last week.
Yes.
Anyone's given that answer yet? So
I love it.
Listen, it's. I'm just going to reiterate basically what Damian and the rest of the gang has been saying. We were aiming for this October Halloween 2020 release, and then obviously, like the rest of the world, a pandemic comes through and delays everything. We only have a few more days left. Once we finish those, which we're getting closer and closer to doing so, then I think we'll have a better gauge on when this film, can actually come out. But Damian's been working hard, not only getting the new scenes ready, but also working on the older stuff. So this way, as soon as he physically can and possibly can get this thing out, believe me, he will. He wants to get it out. We all want to get it out, faster than you guys want to see it. Trust us. So
I believe he said January or February next year, didn't he?
That's the hope. So barring no other setbacks, hopefully that can be the case. But we're working hard to make it happen as soon as possible.
Cool.
Awesome.
Michael, what have you and the Fuzz on the List team been doing during this pandemic?
Yeah, so I mean, in the beginning, you try to find the light in certain situations. So we were shooting Terrifier really from October of 2019, starting in September 2019, pre-production all in the summer. Before that, we were shooting straight through up until when this pandemic happened. We only had a few days left. It was a lot of work. So at first it was a little, welcoming, like, oh, we get a little bit of a break. Who would have known that it would have been what it became?
Yeah.
After like 2 weeks, we're scratching, trying to get back to work. The government cut us, I guess.
That's awesome.
So what we tried to do specifically is, as I mentioned, Damian was working on editing and stuff.
Maybe that's why they like it.
And Phil was helping him prep some stuff. And then as for us, we were basically trying to put our efforts and our focus on some other project that is going to come after Terrifier 2. So we were able to, raise some extra funds for the film, looking for a little bit more to finish it out. But we were able to put some cast together, a great cast that eventually we're going to be talking about, some wonderful horror icons. So we really were able to put that project together, which we'll be shooting as soon as Terrifier 2 stuff is done. We're going right into production stuff. We were able to put that together. We also launched our Patreon page. If anybody wants to take a look, it's Patreon Fuzz on the Lens. And we also got the merchandise into our store, our Fuzz on the Lens store. We also have the neck covers, and we rebranded our entire website. And we tried to utilize the best we could the time that we had during the pandemic to stay productive.
Cool.
Awesome. Obviously I know we're here to talk about Terrifier, and obviously we'll get to that more down the road. But tell us about Abnormal Attraction, and are there any plans for a follow-up or plans to write and direct again?
Yeah, so Abnormal Attraction, for anybody, I have a Blu-ray here. Actually, if anybody's curious, it's hard to see. Abnormal Attraction was an 80s, 90s style campy monster comedy that we had done right before Terrifier, and it has a wonderful cast with Malcolm McDowell, Gilbert Gottfried, Leslie Easterbrook, Tyler Main, Bruce Davison, Academy Award nominated actor, Leslie Easterbrook, Leslie Donaldson, so many, Eileen Beach, so many people to talk about. Jim Hanks, Tom Hanks' brothers, Mike Buscemi. Really wonderful cast and a really fun film to make. And if anybody's interested or enjoys kind of that 80s style of comedy, with some monsters, I think this would be a great film for you guys to check out. Shot the whole film in Staten Island, New York, and it was just a blast to do. It's available on Amazon Prime now for free if you have that. It's also on many other platforms, video platforms, Vudu and stuff like that. So you can definitely find it. Tubi, I think we're on now as well recently. So
I'll hold my hands up, Mike. I haven't seen it, but it is on the list.
Awesome. Let me know what you think. I'd love to.
I will do, yeah.
A blast making that film. As to your second question, to write and direct, actually, the next film that we're doing, I can tell you the name. It's entitled Stream. It's a horror film, fully horror, no comedy involved. I will be directing that. I had co-written it with a couple other Fuzz on the Lens people, Jason Leavy, my brother, Steve Della, Salla, Robert Privatera. And we actually are very fortunate enough to have a lot of our Terrifier team returning to help us out on this film. Damian's going to be doing the special effects for us. Makeup artist Jackie's joining us. Our DP for Terrifier, George Stuber, is going to be joining us as gaffer. We have Faith, who also was the AC on Terrifier 2. She's going to be joining us on this. So it's a lot of crossover that's coming from Terrifier 2 that's going to be working on Stream. So it's exciting to keep that camaraderie together and to do something different.
Awesome.
And Phil, too. Phil's going to be joining us as well.
Phil.
Oh, yeah. He's got a lot of work cut out for him. You don't know yet.
Phil's the man.
Are we good to go?
He is. He really
Did see Abnormal Attraction, and I loved it. When it first came out, I
I can't.
paid for it on Amazon. But great. I laughed most of the way through it. A lot of great one-liners in there.
Thank you. I'm glad you joined.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the Staten Island Clown scare?
So I know David Howard Thornton likes to talk about this, considering that we were the ones who did the Staten Island Clown project before even being involved in Terrifier. But he kind of has a little bit of fun with my decapitation scene that he took out the Staten Island Clown creator in the Terrifier. So we did that basically as two things. One was a marketing campaign for Fuzz on the Lens. To basically say we can make a splash in the world. We can really do something here that can create a buzz and go viral. It was a little bit of a social experiment where we decided to take this entity, this clown, put it out there and kind of see if the world and the community would kind of create the narratives themselves. So we really were limited in what we put out there, just a creepy clown with a balloon. And it really was amazing how this story kind of took off and how this folklore, people thought, I saw the clown here and there. And he wasn't in most of the places they were talking about. So it just became this legend and grew. And then we would put him in certain different spots. Our original goal was to have the clown, we were going to be the first ones to capture him on video and maybe catch an interview before anybody knew that we were a part of it. That idea went out the window because instead of being 3 months to catch on, it was 3 days. So I really, finally learned the value of going viral, which, you hear it, you think about it, but you don't really know until you experience how crazy that is. On the flip side, it was also used as a promotion for our company. Where we were actually able to get some funds in through doing this and getting the exposure for Abnormal Attraction. So that's really where that all started.
That was some good PR for sure. Because
right, oh my, that boomed.
Yeah. We originally were going to do Grim Reaper. We're going to do a Grim Reaper, and we said, that's too scary. What can we put out there that's a little controversial? And it's clown. I mean, it's proven with Terrifier. People love clowns, and then people hate clowns, right? So it kind of does the work on its own.
Honest with you, I lost a real life friend over that thing because she is a huge, what is it, choleraphobia? Is that what it's called?
Chlorophobia.
Yeah. Oh man, When that first started, I was like, well, guys, it's a clown. It's not going to hurt you. It's standing there type thing. And she went off on me because she's like super paranoid of clowns. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry. And bye-bye. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't like a close friend, but yeah, that I remember when that happened. I was like, you guys are making a huge deal out of nothing, man.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Where are you?
It was definitely an interesting and fun ride for sure, and very blessed that we were able to experience and be a part of something like that and bring some joy. The news is always the news is crazy. It's always like, here in Staten Island, it's overdoses and just now it's coronavirus pandemic, and before, the election stuff. It's always like this news that's a lot of anxiety. So we felt, even though the clown, I guess we brought some people anxiety, it was fun anxiety. It was different. It almost made you feel like you were in a movie and you were part of something bizarre. So, it was nice to have that little escape, and we wanted to supply that to the world and the community.
I always tell this story. So back in the 70s, and you'd have to be probably as old as me, but back in the 70s, there was where I lived, where I grew up, north of Boston, in a town called Revere. There was a rumor, and it was a clown. We called it a clown scare, right? So the rumor is that there was a white van, and it was a bunch of guys going around dressed up as clowns, and they were like abducting kids and abducting people, right? And it turned out to be an urban legend, but it got so bad that there was a period of time where they actually imposed a curfew. Like, you had to be in, so it was pretty crazy. And then, like, you walk into school and you see like a random piece of clothes discarded or something, or someone left a glove somewhere, and you're like, oh my God, they got him, So it was crazy. So I think, that's probably what my interest in, these kind of crazy clown things started. So yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, how everyone, that's what I think is the thing with clowns too, is it's so universal that everyone has had an experience with a clown one way, shape, or form in their childhood. And that's the reason why a lot of people are afraid. Now, whether it was at the circus, or whether it was a story like you just mentioned, or it was watching or reading Stephen King's It, or thinking about the Gacy stuff that was going on. I mean, a lot of people were affected by clowns in positive and negative ways. And I think that's why, because of that universal widespread, is why a film like Terrifier is so, popular and was able to become so successful, beyond obviously what Damian had done with the character and David, and, all of the story and the rest of that. But, just starting off with that simple thing of clowns, I think was a big, smart move by Damian to tap into and utilize that.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Clowns are just freaky, full stop, aren't they? Just freaky.
It's true.
Can't get away from it. So how did your haunted house go this year? And how, because I saw some of the pictures online, and how was it different, if at all? It didn't look like it was much different, but how was it, if at all, different from last year as far as like COVID and all that?
Yeah, I mean, so it went well. I mean, the difference is, it's, we like to get close to everyone who comes, as other past years, get close, really get to, talk with them, hug them, give them candy and stuff. And we really weren't able to do a lot of those things because of COVID. Also, just the fact of wearing a mask is also different, as opposed to wearing a scary mask. But we tried to still put it on for, the kids to come by and at least see it. As far as our display goes, the display was the same. We wanted to make sure that we had as much stuff out there for people to view and to see. Everything was outside, which is good, and we added a couple new characters. So we had fun. It was nice just to escape a little bit, and just try to remember pre-COVID and just enjoy something a little bit. So we were happy to bring that to the community.
So it's pretty obvious you're a horror fan then.
Nah.
Yeah. I'm a big horror comedy guy. I love both genres, and they're both on the end of the spectrums, but I think that they complement each other very much. So I love both of those genres.
That's awesome. How many about the haunted house, how many figures or like props do you guys have? And did you ever have any of those been used on any sets or anything like that, or got from sets or something like that?
Yeah, so I mean, how many we have now that are out in play? I mean, it could be something like 30 actually life-size mannequin.
Yeah, the life-size ones. Yeah, and then all the other
we
stuff, right?
We started off with a screen, a life-size screen that we had built with my grandfather and my mother back in the early to mid '90s. Right when that film came out is really when I guess we started doing this display. We were kids that were just getting old enough to appreciate it and decorate and help out. So it started with that, and eventually it grew and grew and grew, and me and my brother took it over and just turned it into this hobby. And the ones that we go through a lot of filmmakers that help us make if they give us a head or a bust, or like a lot of people that I'm sure that are online that make these things, that they give us a piece, and me and my brother like to piece the rest together to make them full size.
Yeah.
Some of them have been in films before. The Sasquatch that we have outside is actually the exact outfit that was used in Abnormal Attraction for our Sasquatch, that once we were done, we turned it into a life-size bust. The Staten Island Clown is actually out there as well. The actual costume that we had used for
That's sick. Yeah.
So, we try. We have great characters. We're always looking to add. Eventually, me and my brother want to make a museum to where we can kind of put all of these in, kind of like how in Salem, you get your Count Orlock place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Runs that James, very good, cool guy, and we actually get some of the same people to make our stuff that he does.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
We learned that as we were talking through just our love of the hobby.
Yeah.
Eventually, we'd like to do something like that, instead of doing it at our house. But for now, it's fun just to be able to supply that for the community for free.
Yeah. It's awesome. So it's so much. That's so awesome. I wish I lived in your neighborhood because I wanted to go check it out.
Hopefully next year, when things are a little more safe and we
Yeah.
have people come, then you guys can come and check it out for sure.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, it'd be great.
How did you and Jason get involved in Terrifier?
Weird. So we were making Abnormal Attraction, and a buddy of ours by the name of Jason Milstein was doing our sound, and he was also a producer on the film, and he's was a post-production supervisor. So one of the days we had built up in a Boy Scout camp here, a big monster village, and it was with all these different houses and huts and tiki things, and it was like Halloween Town, like really, if you've ever seen the Disney movie, it was our own little fantasy world, and it was in the middle of the woods at the Boy Scout camp. And he had said, I have this producer friend of mine who is working on a couple of projects, one called Joe's War, which Phil Falcone directed, produced with a great cast, Ed Asner, Amanda Santi, Tom Sizemore, many others. And he said, you mind if I bring them down to visit the set? I'm sure he would love this. So he says, sure, of course. So he came down, he visited, and we hit it off with Phil. Just started, BSing, hanging out, and he really loved what we had done with the town. So he said, listen, I'm working on a couple of projects. Love to have you come down and help out if you have time. And we said, sure. So little time goes by. You lose a little bit of connection. They were busy with what they were doing. We got a phone call first to help work on Joe's War. So we shot a couple of scenes with him for that. And then after that, he says, Mike, I'm pitching you and Jason. Because first I'm pitching you to Damian for a role. He goes, would you and Steve, Della Salla, mind sending in an audition tape for the Terrifier movie I was telling you about? We think you'd be perfect to play two cops. So I auditioned, sent it to Phil, and so did Steve. Damian gives me and Steve the role of the cops. And about a week later, Damian calls me and says, Mike, I have a better role that I think you'd be perfect for. We got a little extra money in from an investor that wants more gore in the film. Would you be open to doing this other role? And sure, what's it, inquire. He goes, well, it's going to be bigger. It's going to be a lot more fun. The only catch is you're going to die. He goes, you're not going to live like the cop would have lived.
Hard.
So I said, well, I guess I can't be in a horror movie if you're not going to die. So I said, what do I have to do? And he goes, you have to get your head molded and cast. And I actually had a bad experience a couple of years earlier with getting a mold done on my face. So I was petrified. They talked me into it and said, listen, I think you should, I'll be okay. I'll be soothing. He's got the soothing hands. So he did it, and it went wonderful. And I overcame my fear. That was more scary than the actual decapitation scene in my mind. But I got through it. And then I said to him, I said, if you like the performance that I had given for the cop role, my brother Jason, we're very similar in our acting abilities. Would you mind taking a look at him? Because now that you have me and Steve in the film, I'd love to get my brother involved. He said, absolutely. Jason sent in a tape and Damian loved it, gave him the role. And then from there, we just started getting a part of it more and more, from shooting stuff and then all of a sudden to producers and the assistant director and the gaffer and everything else on Terrifier 2. So it just kind of grew and we became great friends. Damian and all of us and George were like brothers now. It's really incredible what came out of that experience.
It's a great story.
Yeah, that's awesome. How is it different working on the different locations and sets for Terrifier 2?
It's fun because each day is different, but it's also annoying because each day is different because it's, you just don't know what each day is going to bring, the problems or, what kind of solutions, what your game plan is going to be. But it is a lot of fun seeing the location when you first visit it and then versus going to it and actually setting it up to shoot and seeing how it all comes together. I had a blast visiting different places with Damian and George and Phil and Steve and everybody, and just really seeing it come to life firsthand was a lot of fun. And Terrifier 2, I'll tell you, has like hundreds of more locations than Terrifier 1. I mean, Terrifier 1's very self-contained, right? It's in the warehouse and it's in a pizzeria and it's on the streets and that's it. Terrifier 2, it's like everywhere. We really took this film and tried to expand the universe and just make it bigger and crazier and better and more fun. And that's not to say the first one wasn't those things, but you gotta, part 2, you gotta up it. So Damian and all of us are definitely doing it.
Cool. We've got some members' questions now.
On the streets and that's it. Terrifier 2, it's like I clicked the thing on the side and my voice came in.
Oh, okay. We've got some members' questions now, Michael.
Sure.
First one is from Carla Benson. How was it working on the first film versus the second film?
A lot more anxiety and stress.
I bet, yeah.
No, like I said, the first film, mainly we were actors and we did some crew stuff, and certainly not as involved and as much as the sequel. So in regards to that, the first film was a little more self-contained, again, smaller locations. The second film was just, we were involved from pre-production through everything. I mean, we had to help with, Jason was involved heavily with the casting, and, we were helping Damian and Phil any which way that we could. So, I mean, it was definitely a lot more challenging personally for us, just because of the amount of the film, the level of the film, and then also our involvement overall as producers.
Yeah, that's a big difference for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
The next question is from Vanessa Windish. And she says, Michael, what was it like to witness your own brutal takedown?
It was definitely weird. It was surreal. It was interesting. I'm standing next to Phil when they were doing the actual, with the head cast, and they were actually with the fake head and they were doing the full rest of the decapitation. We were watching it. And it was funny. I remember Phil standing and looking at me. He says, I can't look at this. I have to look at you because you're here and you're okay. He goes, that's too disturbing to me. I remember that very vividly.
Wow.
It's disturbing. It's off-putting. It's weird. It was a little surreal saying it, but I knew I was here and I was okay.
Right.
But for a lot of
that was a very good likeness.
Yeah,
it was really
very
good.
Yeah.
Good job with it for sure. Yeah. So it was fun. It was fun. I mean, I remember though when we did the stab in the head and the blood came down. I wear contacts, so it was a ring of blood around my eyes. So I'm keeping my eyes open, trying to give a performance, and that was fun.
Yeah.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
See, this next question is from Bronson Clark. What advice do you have for someone who wants to be involved in horror films, and how do you break into your kind of work?
Yeah, so I mean, it sounds a little cliche to say this, but it's really like the same in any business. If you really want to do it, if you really want to pursue this, you just have to keep at it. Don't ever stop. I advise making your own stuff. It's very hard to break into the business any other way. I mean, it's possible, obviously, millions of people, hundreds of people, thousands of people do it. But if you make your own stuff as a filmmaker, it just helps you get better. It helps you learn the jobs of everyone else, and it keeps you creative and it keeps you working. So I would advise starting off with short films, doing that, getting them into festivals, going to these festivals, networking, meeting with different people, going to these conventions, these horror conventions when they start up again, because they're so helpful. The community is so supportive, and you meet a lot of people that can help you out. So that's really it. Just keep knocking at that door, keep trying to bang that door down, and don't let anybody stop you. I always say, again, it's a cliche. If you have a plan B, you're planning to fail. So just put it all in and just go for it. Why not? What do you have to lose? It's life. Like, you got to do what you want to do. You only live it once.
Definitely. This is from Lawrence Milenko. Was there any kills in Terrifier that made you not want to do it, or thought maybe it was taken too far?
I think I know the answer to this.
There was no kill in the movie that I said, I don't want to do this. I mean, I'm crazy like Damian. So when I read the crazy stuff he had, oh, I'm in, let's do this. Let's push it further. And Damian goes, push it even further than that.
Yeah, the sicker the better.
Yeah, he really is. He's incredible when it comes to that. And the things he comes up with, I never understand how and where it comes from. But no, there was no kill that kind of made me not want to do anything when I heard about it. The kill that I guess I felt was a little risky, or was that one that we all talk about, the sawing in half. I don't like it. I like the kill, but if I was to have any problem with it, it's just because it's more talked about than mine. So that's really the only gripe I have with it. But maybe Damian could have dialed it back a little bit so mine could have got a little more exposure. No, I mean, listen, I thought it was so cool, so unique. Damian did a great job with it, and certainly is the talk of the town. It's because it's different. No one's ever seen something like that before. You have to push the boundaries a little bit if you want to get noticed.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Heather McAdoo asks, so who got to keep Michael's fake head?
So, funny story about that. My head is on a mantle in Australia. One of the investors that actually ended up putting the money in specifically to do that scene, I think Damian made a deal with him that he would also get to keep some of the props from the film, and the head ended up being one of them. But I do have
That's really funny.
a replica from the mold without the facial hair.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, without the facial hair put in and the full paint job. This is the replica, the second version of the of my head. Damian has the life cast itself, but that's the foam second version without the hair punched in.
Wow, I definitely didn't think that answer was going there. That's for sure.
No.
Was it like, yeah, bring me his head?
We were hoping you had it, Michael.
Yeah, I got the second one. So but if he ever wants to sell it, if he's listening to this or wants to get rid of it, talk to me first.
Yeah.
This next question is from Anna Salvato deal from Anna. We kind of touched on it earlier, but it said, how did you get involved with the film and the franchise?
Yeah, so basically that was what we kind of touched upon before, was through Phil Falcone, and then starting off with that audition process for Terrifier, and then doing that, and then it kind of just expanded to do a little crew on the first film, and then it grew to what it is now, which is producer and everything else that we have to do.
I was gonna say, to expand on that just a little bit, like, did you ever imagine that kind of initial meeting or whatever might have led to all this down the road? I mean, because you have a lot going on, which is good.
It's hard to say, yeah, we knew this was going to happen. I mean,
right.
I'll tell you this. I know me and my brothers privately discussed that Damian had something here. That we knew that he had some, but you never know where that's going to go, because I've seen a lot of filmmakers that have really cool villains or really cool visually things, or some cool stuff in their films. You say they got something here, but it's just a matter of taking it to that next step, which fortunately, Terrifier was able to do. So I didn't think it was going to explode, but I definitely thought there was something here that was going to create a little bit of a buzz. It wasn't until I was out in California visiting. I have a lot of friends in the Halloween franchise, and it was their 40th anniversary in Pasadena, the Halloween 40 convention. And it wasn't until then, I think it just had gotten to Netflix, Terrifier. and we were at that convention. There was so much Art the Clown stuff, and we were starting to get recognized by fans. We were there as just fans of Halloween and having friends in the franchise, just hanging out with them. And then we were getting recognized almost as much as some of them were. And we were like, what's going on here? So I called Damian. I said, I wish you would have came out to this thing. This is growing exponentially. I can't believe what I'm seeing. And it was
So
like
cool.
toys and paintings and mugs and air fresheners. It was bizarre. So that was the first time I really recognized it. It was right after it went into Netflix. So,
Okay, yeah. I would say even before that, though, it seems like it started to take off, right?
Oh, it 100% was.
Yeah,
It was.
yeah.
Here's the thing. It was a slow burn before that, which is
Yeah,
good.
right.
Where you're getting more, you're getting more, you're getting more.
Sure.
And then Netflix, I think, just exposed it to
100%. Yeah.
generalized, not so much just the horror niche community.
Yeah. Definitely.
Right, this is from Jeffrey Mills. Where do you think Art the Clown ranks with the iconic horror film Killers?
Ooh.
He definitely is. I'd say he's in the top 7 or 8 right now. And the only reason why I put him that far down, I mean, he's obviously below in the top 10, is I think there's always room to grow. You have to respect the guys that have had multiple sequels for multiple years.
Oh, yeah.
Generations, right? And everyone knows the top 3, at least, Michael, Freddy, Jason. And then you could kind of trickle out from there, Leatherface, Pinhead, and, kind of outgrow. So I think Art right now is in the 7 or 8. For me at least, definitely below 10. And I think as time goes on, especially after the second film comes out, I think he's going to move up, which is good. You have to have somewhere to go. If I was just say he's number 1, it's just like, then where do you go? So,
What's your favorite horror film, Michael?
I'm a big fan of Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street. Those are my 2 go-tos. But there's so many. I mean, I enjoy them all.
Do you know my top 2?
What are they?
Number 1 is Excalibur. Second one is Braveheart.
There you go.
That's not really.
I think that was a nod to Damian on that one.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I still haven't seen them, and I don't think I ever will.
As long as you're watching Terrifier, that's all that matters.
Absolutely.
Right.
Michael, this next one comes from Christina Kaiser. Says, Mike, did you like being an exterminator that met a twisted clown? And I believe that's a music reference, I'm guessing.
I did. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I like wearing the exterminator costume. It was very similar to like a Michael Myers that onesie mechanic suit a little bit, and it was made out of great material. I remember, very sturdy. It was cold though when we did that's the one thing that nobody understands when you're making a horror film. You get covered in blood, right? And then it's lunchtime and everybody can leave. And while you're sitting in the cold, freezing,
Not you.
you don't want to trap the blood through the plate. So they bring you food over to and you're shivering. But you know what? We have a motto that is pain is temporary, footage is forever. So I was happy to do it because there's a lot of other people that were there that day that don't get the credit that they deserve being a part of that film. And I only get it because I was in front of the camera. So
Yeah.
I had to freeze my ass off a little bit. That's okay.
Good stuff. This next one is from Tom Brady, and he says, "Why do you like my team so much?"
Well, Tom. He's making a reference. I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. I was a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan before Tom Brady came in Gronkowski. My uncle actually played for the Bucs.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good story.
He played with Tampa he was in the NFL for 15 years. He was drafted by Miami, went to Tampa Bay, played most of his career there, 2 years in Buffalo, back to Tampa Bay, and made the Pro Bowl. So I've been a Buc fan for pretty much my whole life, and went through a lot of bad years too.
Yeah.
So it's nice that we get to have a little bit of some recognition, and we're having some wins. So
yeah, I think you're definitely in the right. I think you guys are gonna have a good year.
So good.
I didn't know Tom Brady was an Art the Clown fan. I mean, we just learned, so it's just
That's good. Yeah. That's nice to know.
Yeah. All right, and then John's gonna actually represent himself here. So he has his questions that we usually read. So
how long you got?
He asked the best questions.
Can't wait. Let's hear it.
All right. I'll start with my usual because I love this question.
Where are you?
Excuse me. If you were a UFC fighter, what would your entrance music be?
Crazy Train.
Oh, love it.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Right
Get
out
some
of the
Randy
gate.
Rhodes in there.
Right out of the gate with that one.
Good answer. What is your favorite song when you're feeling down?
Matchbox 20 Unwell.
Oh, another great one. Heard it today. That's
Just
awesome.
nailing this stuff.
Your favorite scene from part 1, not counting your decapitation.
Mm.
I don't know. Can I say the whole thing? I don't know. That's a hard one.
All right. Okay. I'm trying to go as quick as I can so I can answer. I saw a couple questions in the chat, so I'm going to try and get some of those in here too. It says, how did it feel to die like that in Terrifier?
How did I feel what?
To die like that in Terrifier. That's
Fun.
from
It was cool because it was very unique. And it was fun because the way Damian does it is most of it he likes to let the actor be there for. So he adds prosthetics to your neck and lets it go deeper and deeper so you can get the performance and act. And then it's only for the end where he gets, and again, it's all that work just for the head to come off. But for the most part, it was me, there doing it. And then just for the end, it's the fake head. But it was fun. It was different. It was cool. It's really cool to see when it works out the way it's supposed to. Damian is really good at what he does. Not only as a director, obviously, and what he has a vision, but as a practical effects artist, and that's from learning from guys and admiring guys like Tom Savini. So when you have someone who knows how to do it and does it right, it's so cool to just let him do it, have your full trust, and see it come out the way it should.
Oh, he did it. Best decapitation in a movie, in my opinion. This is a question I've been dying to ask everybody we've had on here, and I keep forgetting to ask it. It's not really a spoiler. You can answer it or choose not to. The question is, how many estimated Easter eggs are there in Terrifier 2?
There's quite a few. I off my top of my head, 8, 9, 10. I don't know. I could be lying about that number. But there are and Damian likes things very subtle. But he likes to put some stuff in and foreshadowing Easter eggs and different things. So this way, when you have different viewings, you might catch something another time. He'd probably be best to answer that since he's the one coming up with them. But there are a few I know
forgot to ask him
for a fact that are in there that come to mind that I cannot share.
All right. Of all your hats, what do you want to be known for most?
First of all, I know this is also probably a cliche. I just want to be known as, kind to people, fun-loving, to hang out with, honest. But if you're talking career-wise, director, producer, actor, something in there.
Awesome. Next question. Will you be joining us in Salem?
What would I be doing?
Will you be joining us in Salem?
When you guys have I would definitely love to come for that.
Awesome.
I was saying I'm coming when it was supposed to be. And then obviously this whole thing happened. So I was just there recently. So I would love to come back.
Oh, that's awesome. And my final question was one I saw in the chat here. And also curious. So what did you think of the scene of the gun scene when you read the script?
So here's the thing. I didn't see that. Damian was very selective with how much of the script he sent out to certain people. So because I wasn't heavily involved at that point in the film at that time, I was only sent my stuff and a couple other things that I was going to help out crew-wise and things. So he had really kept certain things quiet. I didn't know about that until the actual premiere we were at. I think it was in Lincoln Center, and I saw it, and I was stunned, blown away. But I respected it so much and loved that he did it. And I remember looking at my brother, who was sitting right in front of me, and I said, "Wow, he really pushed the limit." I was stunned. I said, "You never do that." I said, "Either people are going to love that or they're going to absolutely hate it." I loved it because I've never seen that before, so I definitely approved that one. But I was stunned. I did not expect that.
Yeah, that was a great one. That was yeah. That surprised a lot of people for sure.
It was I think it was the right move. I mean, it sucks that the character who obviously had to die because you're rooting for her and like you expect her to, to Jenna to live it out, and then all of a sudden it's this big flip. But thankfully, another great actress, Sam, comes in and really killed it as well. But it definitely was a risky choice for Damian to do that. But I think it paid off.
It paid off for sure.
I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
What?
Well, yeah, Mike. I mean, thanks for joining us again. It was great having you.
Yes,
And
it's always fun to come and chat, and I watch all the ones you guys do.
I was gonna say, I love that you guys are so good to us. Again, you all guys always participate, and that just makes it so special. I mean, I look, like we're all in these different fan groups and stuff like that, but I mean, none of the groups that I've seen just have the interaction between
I mean, listen,
you guys and the fans. So
we're fans too of just the genre.
yeah, just fantastic.
We're just like you guys in that aspect, and we were just fortunate enough to be able to make a film that a lot of people are connecting to, and we wouldn't be here without you guys. And so why would we not want to partake in things like this? And just as you support us, we want to support you guys. So it's an honor to
great.
be able to talk, and we're getting connected with so many wonderful people and friends that because of this movie we were all able to make. So I'm the fortunate one.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and we can't wait for the meetup in Salem. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, it's going to be fun. We'll have some drinks and hang out. Be good.
All right. Well, enjoy your night.
Get mad at me for saying this, but we got to get him to one of those Russian roulette tables where they have like the thing with you spin and he's a crazy partier, I'll tell you that.
It'd be great stuff. Well, enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll see you in the chats. And thanks again.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
All right.
Thank you, Mike.
Stay safe. Yeah. Bye.